Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a hopefully short and sweet planner update for you. This is for the month of February. It is a shorter month, so I feel like I just have less to talk about in general. And also, I don't know if you can tell, but I seem to have caught a cold or some other illness. So I'm gonna try to get through this fairly efficiently. As always, gonna start with my reading journal. Unfortunately, February, I did not finish a single book. I did read somewhat consistently. However, I have been pretty busy with anniversary prep, so I just didn't read as much each day. So I was making very little progress. Anyways, I finished The Bright Years last month, and then I also finished The Master and Margarita, and I really enjoyed this book. I think in my last video, I didn't finish writing out all of my thoughts. So yes, even though I didn't finish this in February, I did write a little bit more of my thoughts in February. And then I think last month I said that something that I really want to do is not start so many new books, but actually go back to previous books and continue them. One of them was Three Men in a Boat, and by the way, that yellow part is fountain pen ink, of course. Anyways, I started this book last year, got kind of busy, so I never continued it, and now I have continued it, and I'm still really enjoying it. This top section was written with Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki, which is one of my favorite blues. However, again, it has been several months since then, and I no longer have a pen inked up with this ink. So for this bottom part, I wrote it with my Lamy Safari and Robert Oster Gracie's. A little bit annoying, but that's okay. And I think it's actually good that I can see the distinction between the two times that I have read this book. Anyways, I haven't finished it, but I am pretty close, so hopefully I can finish it in March. Again, I'm really sorry about my congested voice. Next up is my Commonplace journal, and I do have a few entries. I think last time I wrote some notes about eczema, and then these are some random notes about salt. Iodized salt, MSG, table salt, kosher salt, Himalayan, sea, black salt. Oh my gosh, yes, I remember. I was actually taking notes about this while I was on my flight, so yeah, really random. Then I just have two entries from the Enchiridion, and okay, this part I will explain. So on the next page, I wrote some recent frustrations and reflections, and as you can see, I filled up these pages. And because I knew that I had some empty space here, when I got to the end of this page here, I just drew an arrow pointing backwards to kind of signal that it continues in the previous page. So this is where I continued, and I actually haven't finished it yet. And I think this is where I will quickly talk about Sailor 970, which I did mention already in my January updates video, but at that time I had only done a little swatch over here. So a lot of times inks might look really good as a swatch, but when you ink it up in a pen, it might not look the way you expected. So yeah, at this point I really did like this ink, but I wasn't too sure yet. Since then, I have inked it up in my Esterbrook Estie. This is Quirky Leaf with a fine nib, and I love it so much. It is a really nice, warm, happy green, and it makes me excited for spring when I look at it. So yes, I just wanted to follow up on this from last month. Alright, that is everything in my Commonplace journal. Next up is my Hobonichi Weeks, which is my health and fitness record keeper. This is my steps and workout tracker, and I'm a little bit behind in filling this up. I will do that in a little bit. I did go on a short little trip early February, so to indicate that, I always draw a little bar like this so that I know these few days I didn't work out, or hit my step goals because it was an abnormal time. And then in the last update, I wasn't able to show this yet, but I can show the first data point now. So at the top next to the heart, that is where I'm going to write down my monthly step average. And then for the rest, I'm going to turn this into kind of like a plotted graph. So it goes from 28,000 to 36,000. And then for January, just in the middle of the column, I plotted it at 35,000. And I think by the end of the year, it'll look really cool. All right, February. I definitely already showed this last time, but this week I wanted to try writing with fountain pens again in my Hobonichi Weeks, which I typically don't like to do. I think it was somebody on Instagram who said that this kind of gives them like a claustrophobic feel, and I totally agree. And I think that's part of the reason why I don't usually use fountain pens in my Hobonichi Weeks. Okay, you know what? I guess I wasn't so consistent in my Hobonichi Weeks this month. I don't know why. I remember filling this out retroactively. But yeah, I guess this was when I went traveling, so I just didn't fill out my habit tracker. I didn't write my daily habits. Maybe I'll paste like a boarding pass or something here just to fill up the space. But yeah, there is that. And then this was the next week. I'm using the Colorful Crafts washi tape. I really like how I did the fun days of the week shapes. All right, then we have Lunar New Year week. I just drew some little flowers and gold coins. Also used the Chinese zodiac washi at the bottom. Obviously, this is like not the traditional red and gold color scheme, but I think it kind of works. And then, as I said, this week, I haven't filled it out at all. I think I might write like a little reflection at the end of the week or something. But yeah, for now, it is just going to be empty. And then I will show you the back pages. This is the travel packing list, and this really did come in handy. So basically, you know, when I go traveling, the things I pack will differ from trip to trip, but the main things are going to be the same. So I don't really want to rewrite the same things over and over again. So I just wrote down the main things over here, and for each trip, I'm just going to tick things off. I have a symbol for things that I packed, things that I don't need this time, and also if it's something that I have multiples of, I just want to mark in that I need only one of them. So yeah, I think this will really come in handy. Of course, there's a little smudge there. And then I have, this is my cleaning tracker for things that I don't have to clean like every week. For example, like the top of the fridge or the molding around my house. I mean, it would be awesome if I could keep up with cleaning that every week, but I definitely can't. It's more so like once a month sort of thing. So this just kind of helps me see like when the last time I cleaned it was. And then my produce tracker, I don't really remember how much I added in the past month, but there is that. That is everything for my Hobonichi Weeks. I think for my Hobonichi Cousin, I will take a little break and film the snippet another time. All right, hi everyone, it is the next day. I'm gonna continue and finish off this video, starting with the monthly section. This is my February monthly. I went traveling for a few days, and sometimes when there are uncertain things, I might draw an arrow to kind of reschedule the event. And yeah, I really like this theme. I think it's really sweet and fitting for Valentine's Day, but it's not like the traditional pink, red, white sort of color scheme. And I have not planned for March yet, but I am really looking forward to it because, as you can see, it is a lot of fun, bright colors. Okay, let's go to the weekly section. So this was the last week of January going into February 1st, and I wanted to use the January sunny neighborhood theme. It was a busy few days, and we had new releases on the 31st, and it was a lot of emails. So basically for the 31st and February 1st, all I did was just reply to emails. The next weekend, well, like Thursday to Sunday, I visited my friend, so I kind of made this a special travel theme. For the washi at the top, I took seven different washi tapes, and I ripped them down to the width of the column, and I kind of arranged them in like a gradient order from this like denim blue color to a light blue, purpley pink, and then pink. And then similarly for the weekly sidebar, I also went from like a blue to purple to pink. And yeah, this was a really fun week. This week I did a plan with me on it. We of course have Valentine's Day on the 14th, so I used some like pinkish stickers at the bottom. Oh yes, we also did new releases on the 14th, so it was a really busy day. And the next day our family had Lunar New Year dinner a little bit early because the next week was actually Lunar New Year on the 17th. Lately I've been loving these emojis that have the kind of like blank poker face sort of expression. I feel like that represents my mood really well these days. I got new glasses on this day, and I also met up with my pen friends on Saturday, which I will talk about later. On the 22nd, I announced the anniversary event and did the sneak peek for the new washi tapes. And this is this week. Very colorful. I'm using the new Peking Desk Critters washi at the top, which I think looks super cute. I actually did realize afterwards that it might look like the washi is like cut off centered because like all of the doodles are lined up against the bottom. I do want to clarify that like that was intentional and they're supposed to be like kind of peeking out from the bottom of the washi. Anyways, yeah, I just brought out a bunch of fun colors and I messed up the sidebar area. It might be hard to see from afar, but there is a lot of whiteout. The past few days I've just been knocking out at like 8 or 9 p.m, which is very unlike of me, but I think my body really needs it. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm spending so much time on the spread, but I do want to point out this little nosy emoji and this lurking emoji are my new favorite things ever. I know it's like the littlest detail, but this emoji has the arm cut out like this, so it actually looks like it's kind of peeking out from the column, which I think looks really cool. I spent like a good afternoon working on just those two. So yeah, anyways, those are all of the weekly spreads, and let's move on to the dailies. So this is my title page, and I really like this format from January, so I did something very similar for February, and the ink that I'm using is Robert Oster Honeybee. This is a TWSBI e-coat with a broad nib, which makes really fun, bold header lettering, which I think is really nice. Speaking of which, February 1st, I did a swatch of 7 new inks. These were all from Robert Oster. On their website, you can do this thing where you buy like a bundle of 6, you tell them which 6 you want, and it's like a special promotion or something. And Robert Oster, he also picked out the mustard one for me. I'm guessing he saw that I bought 2 of these like yellows, so he thought this one would be fitting for me as well, and I do love it. So again, Honeybee is the one that I was using for the header over here, and as you can see, like the swatches do tend to look a little bit different from what it looks like when you actually write with it in a pen. Loving Gracie's recently as well, and the others I have not used it yet. I do want to also talk about African Gold. The color African Gold had been on my wish list since high school, like 2015, 2016, and for some reason I just like never purchased it. So yeah, it kind of makes me happy that I was able to fulfill a wish list item from my younger self. Anyways, again, not a lot going on because it was a lot of emails. The Bean Card program is ending on February 28th, so we have been getting abnormally high volumes of emails, so it was a lot. And then here, I guess I was journaling in the evening. I wrote, and something else that is on my mind is, and I never finished it. So here I put down this like what emoji, and I wrote what the heck was on my mind, and I still don't know what I was thinking about. So yeah, that'll remain a mystery. On this day, I got some fruits for my mom and dad. Something that I love doing is going to the grocery store and getting like expensive fruits for my parents. I think it's a nice way to show my appreciation for them. And then again, I went on a trip to visit my friend for a few days, so of course I had to whip out this whole cutting down the pages trick that I always do. This part I think is really cool. So I took the boarding pass, I folded it in half, and I used a tape runner to glue them together, and it kind of acts as like a little tab, which I think is really cool. For this week, I used a set of adorable bear stickers, and I think it's really sweet. And ooh, this was written with Robert Oster Gracie's. Of course, on the flight, I always try to get some stuff done. And then the next day, we went to another opera. It was Salome. We had banh mi for lunch. And I had a little thought. Getting ahead is just creating a cushion for when you fall behind. And I think that is very true. It's not like a profound thought, but I don't know. Anyways, on Saturday, I went to a cafe and we watched Oppenheimer in the evening, which I loved. And then I flew back on Sunday. So again, oh yeah, I made a flight to-do list. However, I ended up just like sleeping for most of the flight. And I was very tired. Monday, my fridge was empty, so I did a grocery haul, and I love these little doodles that I made. Kimchi, beans. Okay, I'm not gonna read off everything, but a lot of fun groceries. This is the recently released Lavender Lemons washi tape, which goes with the April 2026 theme, and I love it so much. I actually wasn't too sure how much I would like this when I designed it, but now that I've actually used it, I actually really like the kind of subtle look. Anyways, I had my eye appointment on this day. This was a busy day and I used the alphabet clipping stickers. These are available as digitals in the store, but I also made actual stickers on washi paper for the store. And today I learned egghead means someone who is nerdy and intellectual. I have never heard of anyone calling another person an egghead, but in my head it sounds like an insult for some reason, but apparently it is someone who is nerdy and intellectual. So yeah, I'm not gonna go around calling people eggheads because I still feel like it's kind of like an insult, but yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Evidently I was very tired these few days. And then it was Valentine's Day, a bit of a different layout. So again, we did new releases on Valentine's Day, and again, with the Bean Card program ending, we were getting almost 1,000 emails across the 24 hours. So yeah, basically my entire day was just replying to emails kind of on autopilot, and we eventually did get restricted. And after our account gets restricted, I don't stop there. What I do is I start responding to everyone, but all of the responses are just kept as drafts, and then after the restriction is lifted, then I can quickly send the remaining emails. So yeah, anyways, this spread, as you can see, is inspired by my Valentine's Day flowers that my friend sent me. I wouldn't complain if I got red roses, but I think these are definitely more my aesthetic and I love them. And I kind of brought the color palette into Sunday. Again, I was continuing with all of the emails, so I didn't really need to do a to-do list, and instead I just kind of did journal entries throughout the day. So I talked about waking up and feeling really weird. I usually don't really eat breakfast in the mornings, so it was kind of abnormal for me, but I just decided to make a breakfast, a lot of work, turning the day around, and I had Chinese New Year dinner. These are the Chinese Zodiac washi tapes. And my new rule: every time I want to drink a cup of coffee, I have to pour water into the cup and chug that first. Yeah, I've actually been keeping that rule, and it's been helping with increasing my water intake. On this day, I felt really sore. My eyes have been just super sore. I think from sleep deprivation, but also from just staring at the computer screen all day. Not good. Wednesday, I've done a similar type of spread before in 2025, but I basically just kind of did a mind map of things that are stressing me out and things that are going somewhat okay. And this was just one of those days where I felt really overwhelmed and I didn't really know like what to tackle first. And even if I like start doing something, my brain was just like thinking of all of the things that were stressing me out. So I find on those days, things like a brain dump like this really helps. It's a mix of like health, personal, business stuff. And I also do find that writing about things that are going okay kind of gives me a bit of balance and makes me feel more hopeful for the future. Oh, and also, so I did write about the bean cards ending, and to me it is very bittersweet. There's like a sad part to it and a happy part to it, so that is why I kind of combine the two different colors. The next day, my glasses were ready early. I was told that I could pick it up on March 4th, so I was very surprised, and I walked to the mall at like 8 p.m. in the dark. Was that smart? No, but I was really excited. Saturday, I met up with my pen friends, Corolla, Sheila, and Linda. I had not seen them since like last summer because I just like haven't really like hung out with anyone since my skin condition started. And yeah, I was really excited to catch up with them. And as you can see, we swatched a bunch of inks. And this is where I want to quickly talk about Sailor. This is, where's the name? Nagoya Kinsachi. So this was gifted to me by Linda, and this is the swatch over there. And based on the swatch, I am very hopeful that this is my perfect yellow. I don't currently have an empty pen to ink it up with, so I'm not going to declare that it's my perfect yellow right now because I do feel like I need to see it in a pen first, but this is like the closest I have seen a swatch be. So yes, I think I'll keep you updated in my March planner update. Anyways, every time I see Corolla, so she has twin girls, and it just kind of became a tradition where every time I see Corolla, I give her a bunch of snacks for her twin girls, and I have become distant Aunt Helen, who provides the snacks. So yeah, every time I'm about to meet Corolla, I always make sure that I pick up some snacks, and this time I got some markers as well. Sunday, this is when I announced the anniversary, and I started doing this thing with the to-do list, which I actually really like. So if I have a major project or something and I have a bunch of to-do lists just for that thing, then I kind of indented the items and drew a little bracket, and I think visually it really helps with like distinguishing it from the rest of the to-do list. And yeah, I just did a bunch of swatches over here. We also had a date night on this day, and this was a weird day for some reason. Yeah, sometimes I just feel weird and I can't really put my finger on it, or I can't put my finger on why, rather. All right, Tuesday, perfect timing. So here I wanted to like show off the new stamps that were coming out, or that is going to come out for the anniversary. We have this like sparkly scribbling emoji, and also this like exasperated sigh blobby emoji. I think this one's my favorite. And I wrote perfect timing because this is when I started actually accepting that, yeah, I was probably getting sick, and this is sarcasm. It is in fact not the perfect timing. And then the last two pages. So again, I did this like segmented to-do list thing for my design work, which I really like. And yeah, I have just been very exhausted the past few days, so I didn't write as much. So when that happens, I tend to paste in like bigger things. And then Friday, I put down this little hoodie emoji, and I changed up the layout a little bit. I can deal with a lot of hardships and I guess unideal circumstances, but as soon as I woke up, I felt this like pounding headache, and I just knew that it was gonna be not a fun time. So I like, instead of doing a to-do list, I decided to just start off the day by journaling, and then throughout the day I just wrote down things that I ended up doing, and whatever I got done is wonderful. And yeah, in the evening I just made a little doodle of this headache emoji. And that's it. I haven't planned for today yet. It is currently Saturday morning. I will fill this out a little bit later. I will show you the back of my Hobonichi Cousin. So I think in January I finished the top 3 things. In February I finished my tube of a Colgate toothpaste, And I also finished a little glass jar of the Simply Organic garlic powder. And I didn't realize how expensive garlic powder was. I haven't repurchased it in a while, so it kind of took me by surprise. So last month I couldn't show the planner weight tracker because we hadn't reached the end of January yet. But yes, now I can show you that this was my first data point, and in January my planner clocked in at 517 grams. And then this is a favorites page, which I didn't do anything with last month. So instead of jotting down my favorites throughout the year, I thought this would be a really good place to write down some gift ideas for my loved ones. And I just put down a little emoji sticker. So I have my mom, dad, sister, brother-in-law, baby nephew, boyfriend, and my best friend. And it's kind of ironic because I put a gift page here, but I turned the actual gift page that comes with the Hobonichi into a tea page. But yeah, I do feel like this original layout for a gift page wouldn't really work for me, and this kind of layout works well with my brain. So yeah, anyways, I think I added 2 more. I added fennel and hibiscus tea. I do have more teas that I haven't made entries for yet, but we'll get there slowly. And I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully next week I won't be sounding like this. Goodbye and take care.